Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a zippity-doo-dah couple in love. Let's react to some zombie stuff.
That was a new one.
Yeah,
He got me. That was a new one.
So today we're checking out World War Z, all character background stories. And so I've seen the movie. I didn't read the book, but we like some zombie stuff and we like getting into the stories and the characters. And so
all I remember about my experience with World War Z was that it was such a successful film that at one point I'm sitting there and it gave me a jump scare and I was the one holding the popcorn. So I did this thing and popcorn went everywhere. So that's never happened to me in a movie before. And that was very successful on the part of World War Z. So I still think about that movie to this day because it was successfully scary. Got my game face on. I'm super brave.
Judd Whitaker.
New York Times top photojournalist.
There were moments when men's cruelty could not be explained. It had to be seen. The perfect shot pierced our numbness. Sent up a flare to save the next generation. It said, "This is where we've been. Don't follow." Then there was no one left to heed the warning. The only one left to save was yourself.
Yeah, he's seen some stuff.
Yeah. Because Frank West run for his money.
Ooh, okay.
Gina Mazzari.
Her father was an architect.
Right.
It was her
My
intention.
earliest memory is war.
That sucks.
It was a conflict so complex that it could never be resolved.
It's cool.
But this war isn't complicated. Death is still heartbreak. But a kill is a kill.
Super happy fun times. Ethan Wolfe. What's that little Chucky doll character?
16 years in the British SAS.
Don't play in the dirt, Ethan. Stop fighting, Ethan. Be polite, Ethan.
He's just taking it. Yeah.
We can suppress the animal instincts all we want. Bury them under layers of polish. But they exist for a reason. When we lived in a genteel fairy tale world, somebody did the dirty work out of sight. But when the fairy tale turned nightmare, those instincts were the only thing that kept us alive.
And he's gonna shoot you now. Oh! Or just toss you.
Damn.
Okay. Daniel.
Where there's life, there's light. The glow of hope. At times, it burns brightly,
Oh, he's a hopeful one.
but dwindles and fades.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
once it is lit. We must never let it die.
Another Larkin. Bless you.
Thank you.
Ooh, power distribution engineer.
There's never a
That'll come in
moment
handy.
when you forget. It's there when you fall asleep and when you wake up. You keep going over the things you should have done. I should have stayed home that day. I should have held on.
That would be terrible.
The agony is always there. But I've learned to live with it. Because the only thing stronger than regret is hope.
Hacker. I like her little teddy bear, whatever the hell that thing
To all
is.
my classmates who alienated me because I was different. To anyone who never gave me a chance. To the people who ignored me while I hid behind zeros and ones. Thank you. Without you, I would never have made it this far. I would have been weak and dependent. I would have ended up just like
You.
you.
Okay, something to be said for being a loner. Tayshawn Verdun.
New York City firefighter.
Nice.
We're so small, really. Insignificant. In the grand scheme, one life means so little. You dedicate yourself to a principle. But in the end, it's out of your control.
Oh, man.
In this world, principles get you killed. You lend a hand, it gets torn off. You hesitate, you die. So you want to save someone?
Save yourself.
Save yourself.
No, dude. Come on. You need to get with the Hope crew and, like, they can help you out.
High-ranking member of the Latin Kings gang. Okay.
All right.
I was born into this life. I suffered for it. And reaped the rewards. I could tell you that I didn't want it. That I tried to get out. But I got no reason to lie anymore. That life is the only reason I'm still here.
He can get together with a hacker and they can talk about how their lives helped shape them.
I was never afraid of Cachet the Deathless. I laughed at the fairy tale of this undead phantom. A woman of science would never fear such silliness. But what do we know? Science cannot explain what I've seen. And in the face of such horror, there is no logic. Only faith.
Nickname
The Tiger. Nice. He's a defense lawyer. Okay.
I was just a boy when the Soviet Union collapsed. The nation was divided in two. Those with power, and those without. At 8 years old, I learned the price of weakness. And I vowed never to pay that price again. I became the strong man. I gathered wealth, influence, and power. But nature is indifferent to the hierarchy of men. Once more, she burned my world to ashes, leaving only bitterness and the rage I would need to survive.
Anarchist movement. Okay.
People don't believe something can happen until it does. They live in cheerful ignorance of the coming storm. I could see nothing else. When it finally arrived, I felt relief. At least now the danger had taken shape. Now, I had a target. And I didn't have to fight alone.
Got a little posse of snipers. Were they like on a ship in the Antarctic?
Yeah, it looks like it was a ship on some ice.
A lot of Russians in this.
I will not be welcome in the kingdom of heaven. That fate was never in the cards for a man like me. The Lord had other plans. I have made my peace with God.
Oh, that's cool.
Damn.
Oh, eyeball.
He is with me in this life. And that is enough.
That one was the most gruesome one. Which means it was the best. Okay, okay, so each one of these people are from different regions. There's like 4 people from 4 different regions, looks like.
Ah, okay.
Growing up in Tokyo, you either became a salaryman or you were a waste. If you asked around, it's safe to say I was the latter. They said I lacked self-control, that I shamed my family. So my father sent me off to relatives in the States. Turns out, Americans care a lot more about earnings than honor. Which worked out fine. Until the Zeke showed up. The Japanese decided to evacuate. They didn't have the firepower to fight. But I had special skills.
Feels like me a
So
nightmare
when
for people
everyone
like you.
else was leaving, I went home.
Good for you.
I always wanted to be a cop. Thought I could do some good. But the scum on the street kept destroying lives. While I was wrapped up in red tape. Shackled by senseless laws. The virus stripped all that away, left us to fend for ourselves. And finally, the chains were off.
A starter pistol as a child? Damn. Started early. Olympic biathlete.
Impressive.
Nobody expected a 9-year-old girl from Tokyo to be fascinated by guns. Nobody imagined a 22-year-old university senior would drop out and train for the biathlon. Nobody believed that the daughter of a salaryman could win Olympic gold.
Good for you.
And nobody predicted that a necrotic plague would decimate our planet's population. But life is all about the unforeseen.
Nice.
Squishy
And
sound.
nobody saw me coming either.
I like it.
Yeah. Postcard at 19. Good for you.
I was 11 years old the first time I felt the ground shake. My instinct was to leave, but my grandparents wouldn't hear of it. This is our home, they told me. We don't leave. I came to live by that code. Earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons, they're all part of life here. We accept them. We don't leave. When the evacuation was announced, I rejected it. This wasn't our way. Then I saw them. And I understood. This wasn't another disaster. This was a war.
They're coming out of the ocean.
Yeah.
Just like walking on the bottom of the ocean. Okay. So pretty much, if you're gonna last in this world, you gotta have like a tragic backstory and be a survivor. Like really, the only person that had like a really nice backstory was the one that was like a biathlete and an Olympic athlete and like Olympic gold medalist and like okay, that was like you were an overachiever and went against the grain and everything like that. But you didn't really have like a lot of pain in your life. But it seemed like everyone else like had like pain and suffering in their life, and that's how they were able to like come out the end of this.
Actually, the biathlete was the one who was my favorite, just because I love the idea of like, but nobody ever saw me coming either.
Yeah.
I just found the danger of being underestimated, but persevering through that to be a champion, kind of a compelling story.
And I'm wondering how this game plays out. So I mean, there's seems like 4 different regions or whatever for people, and so do you like play out throughout each region like throughout the game, or do you just play like in one specific region? So I'd be I'd be curious about that. And it's like you only pick like 4 characters. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious how the game works overall. Obviously, like the tragic backstories are more entertaining than, you know, a nice like normal background. But it would have been nice to have like one like normal person.
I'm curious how this compares to the comic and like how that compares to the movie, because admittedly it's been several years since we've seen World War Z, but World War Z kind of has that nice normal family element, very different from this, which is sort of like the more tragic background and how that set them up for survival. I mean, let's be honest, if it weren't for Brad Pitt's sort of CIA background in the movie version, his family wouldn't have been saved.
No.
So I'm just curious as to like how one compares to the other, from movie to graphic novel to the video game. And if they all sort of take their own interpretation of this type of zombie apocalypse, or if there is some kind of common through line on any of them. The other one I liked was the hacker. I think like I like that it was the unexpected, because, you know, to all the people who underestimated me, to all the people who held me down and like, you know, on and on. And you expect the response is going to be like a big F you. But instead it was a thank you, because now I'm alive and you're dead. So
Which is kind of an F you.
It was, but like it did not unravel the way I expected to for that nice little package. That as a character intrigues me. She's somebody who learned this information and so stockpiled supplies and like super reinforced her apartment to make sure that she can survive. I don't know, part of me is just curious about that character type. Like I realize people have been kind of shitty to you, but you learned the world was going to end and you didn't feel like, oh, compelled to tell anybody?
Yeah.
To help anybody? Kind of dark.
Dark and twisty.
Dark and twisty.
I think my favorite character was the one that went back to Japan, like to fight, like while everyone else was like fleeing. Like, everyone else was fleeing, but I went home. I thought that was a kind of a cool story. And also like the Latin King one. It was just like, you know, it's like I'm not gonna lie to you anymore. It's like this is what saved my life is being in this. So owning up to your past and realizing that, you know, it's shaped who we are, and you know, there's even things that people might think as a mistake, or you might like, you know, have a regret. Like as long as you like either learn something from it, then it really ends up being a regret. It can't be a regret because you learned something. You wouldn't have learned it if you didn't, you know, if you didn't have that past, whatever it is, whether it's trauma or, you know, bad decisions or whatever it might be. So like, you know, it's an interesting way to look at regret.
Yeah, that's true. The one commonality through all of these is that everyone seemed to fully be embracing who they were, for better or worse, like against all the societal stigmas that might come with whatever they've been through or whatever they do for a living. They all had 110% embraced who they were, because while society might not have supported it, like in this world, it was the key to survival. And the other thing I think of is the firefighter, when he was talking about, you know, principles get you killed and you can't have principles. I mean, like, you know, I think what draws us to a lot of these end of the world stories is how can we survive in that world, but also how can we continue to be who we are? How can we continue to be somebody that we would look at in the mirror, that we would be proud to say we are? Because so often in these, you devolve into desperate, whatever it takes to survive, to get my family to survive, like I will kill you for food kind of instincts. So just to hear his take, it's like, I mean, yeah, man, you're probably right, but it's not really a world to be excited to live in.
You'll let us know which backstory is your favorite down below in the comments. And thanks so much for checking out our reaction for World War Z character background stories. But just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.